our lives.
Hey.
All right, hey, how you doing?
How you doing, Dave?
Pretty good. Hey, I'm just janitoring right now, but I figured since the host isn't here, I'm going to take his spot.
All right.
So, Don, so good to see you, man.
How are you, sir? How are you?
Pretty good. Hey, thanks for coming by and everything. And this is Don, Governor Don from KXVS. And he runs the spaceship over there, and I call it a spaceship because it is a journey and it is a venture from a galaxy and beyond.
Yes, sir.
And so 2017, I was able to join up at the beginning of the year to have help out and do some podcasting and vodcasting.
Yeah.
The wonderful thing about this station is it's very rare that I've been around. It's one of the very few that has a vodcast and podcast happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And discovering local people here left and right and beyond.
Yeah.
And so real quick, what were some of your visions in the beginning? And we can reflect a little bit on 2017 and then some of the future stuff that you and I are still going to collaborate together and other things that are happening at the station.
Well, I would say that essentially the vision is it's coming together because the vision is about bringing the community together. We are one of the most diverse communities in the nation. Mm-hmm. We have people on all sides, and what we didn't have before the Voice of Stockton is a place for us to come together and communicate, a place for us to maybe even have differences of opinions,
right?
To have those kind of great discussions. You know, with modern media, ever since the deregulation of telecommunications in '96, it's become very polarized. And everything we watch on TV now is pretty much, polarization is, this side, and that's it.
Right, they kind of feed you what they want a little bit, you know what I mean?
Pick one.
Pick one of the sides.
Yeah, because there's only two sides.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but the truth is, on nearly every issue, most of us are somewhere in the middle.
That's right.
And in certain issues, we take sides. And that's okay, it's great, because that's where you have advocacy. If there's opposition, that means there's opposite positions, which means you got a greater perspective. Now you have 360 degrees of view. So it's important for us to disagree. It's important for us to have present arguments and have discussions, but not for the sake of arguing, not for the sake of hyping each other up to be negative or to cut ourselves off from each other, but to discuss so that we can present ideas.
We can come better together.
Yeah, we can find a common ground. We have much more similarities than we have differences, and so what we wanted to do with the Voice of Stockton is build a place where we can have these discussions. Not necessarily agree. We have a diverse community, so we should have diverse opinions.
Right.
Yeah.
But that gets the brain going. I mean, when you have all these talks and everything, and when we talk and everybody talks, it really jogs that brain. I mean, it really works.
Yeah.
It really works that brain out, which is really nice because this is one of the most multicultural town that's around anywhere, which is amazing. We got the port
Definitely.
and all these other things.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it's been many years since there's been a media that has been locally communitized, that is our voice. And Don, you're giving us the voice.
Well, thank you for that accolade.
Well, somebody's got to carry the torch a little bit,
What I'm doing is I'm very fortunate and very blessed to be a part of a great effort that includes many dozens, and in fact probably hundreds of people, you included, great people in our community. Mr. Dennis behind us.
I know, Jim Dennis, the house band.
That's right. Yes, this fine establishment, Werlo's, the type of people who gravitate to the Voice of Stockton, the type of people who probably already are doing these important things in the community. And it's really a group effort. I'm just here to be useful,
mm-hmm.
and ideally, somebody more qualified than me will replace me, or if at the very least.
Well, I wouldn't say replace, but hopefully somebody can still carry that torch on that you're still setting up.
Yeah, exactly.
And years from now, they'll be seeing a picture of you putting up the transmitter at one place, and you're doing all these things. And last time we were hanging out, that was fun. Just trekking around, looking at the transmitters.
My arm's still sore. I was hanging on that tower, But I got we got safety equipment.
That's right. I will just latch up real quick.
Yeah, that's right. Click, click.
Next.
Climbing a vertical mountain there. But yeah, it's something that ideally, what we want to do is we want to build something that outlasts us, and outlasts our involvement in the project. This station is called The Voice of Stockton, so it's not me. It's our community. And we actually just helped Lodi get a community station. So there will be a Voice of Lodi coming soon, KLDI.
How exciting.
Yeah.
This is right off the highway. I mean,
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they just got their license. So that was, cross your fingers.
Right. And that's a hurdle.
But, and there's a number of community organizations throughout our area that do radio. We're not the only ones, but we're just the only ones really here in our region that are focused on the community. It's not about one perspective. It's not about one ideology or one religion.
It reflects our town, which is awesome.
Exactly.
And in all the many programs that you've gathered and people volunteer, or even you found them, or you've made them yourselves, or collaboration.
That's right.
Can you help explain some of the programmings that you do have on your show that we can? And again, it is a mecca of programming to fill our needs for the town that we have.
Your program usually comes on Fridays at noon, and throughout the week at noon we do the spotlight on the arts, where we have Joy Neese's program, Behind the Art Scene. We have Jocelyn Condi, Breaking Barriers with Art. And so our goal is really to have like quality programming throughout the day that is valuable, interesting, and valuable to our community. And the arts is definitely one of them. We are also making some headway because we think also health and wellness is very important, so we have a few programs coming online for that as well. But let's see, Dr. Julie Downman Brown, and Tuesdays at 10 a.m. does a fabulous show called Tales and Tips.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes it's about animals, but it's always about community. Let's see, Nate Knott, Mr. Downtown Stockton himself, he has a show called Stockton Alive.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of Stockton history and nostalgia. It's a lot of fun. And if you know Nate, you know that he delivers that. And so we have a venue for him to distribute that great information right there on the station. 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Betty Ramirez does a Sabor Latino and La Voz, which is a mixed Spanish language English program. So it's a lot of fun because you don't have to know Spanish or English because you're going to get it. And maybe you'll learn something, at least in language, but you'll definitely learn something in content. And also that's a same hour, Noticias y Algo Más, which means news and more in Spanish. That's Professor Ismael Cortez. And he's covering important things that we don't really necessarily hear about in Mexico and within our Spanish-speaking community.
And real quick, that's what's cool about this station. I mean, you're going to hear more news and stuff, more local stuff, and not necessarily local, but more stuff that we would never hear.
Local perspectives.
Local perspectives.
Yeah, we don't even find very many of those even in our Unfortunately, we still have a local paper, but
it's not being utilized as much. But what I like about this media that what's coming to our town is that I've been able to meet so many different people of different cultures and different sides of the world of this town that we live in.
Yeah.
It's like going to a different world, but we're still in town with all the different stuff that I'm still learning from all these people.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you have a morning show.
Yeah, we have the morning show, Rise and Shine 209, which is a lot of fun. We got Alex Woods, Ronnie, and Marcellus. They have fun in the morning, but they also cover, topics worth talking about. Mm-hmm. And that's 5 days. You can catch them early. Then we, almost, I didn't almost forget, but I just haven't got to it. But
there's a lot of programs.
We have a lot
so
of
if we forget
programs.
anybody, we didn't forget you.
But Tom Patty just actually started the show. He's on Fridays at 10.
Okay.
And it's called Tom Patty's Reality Show. And the reason why call it that is because that's really what it's about. Not like a reality show which is totally fake, but a show about reality. So
that could be a whole other universe. Right? I know. Step into this tiny little door.
Yes, no, but it's great. And he's a county supervisor, so he has great insight. professional boxer. He's been on the air. He's familiar with media, and it's great to have a place for a great voice like that to be shared. Miguel Villapudua, another county supervisor. He's on once a month. I think it's first Wednesdays at 2. Of course, Christina Fugazi has been a long time supporter and been on the air with us. She's, I believe it's second Tuesdays at 5, but I think it might change. But so, really is a ton of information that we provide on the station, but it's really for the community, by the community. And we have shows on the weekend. We got Doug Vigil does a show called The Vigil Show. It's really interesting because his guests may or may not have disabilities, but the whole program he's doing sign language, and I always I see this sign on his logo.
I love you, right?
Okay, good.
You know that
But he's just going at it, signing while the guests are talking, and Connie O'Day is on that with him. Speaking of Connie, the Lions Service Organization is now going to have a program every other Mondays at 2 p.m.
Wow.
So
the board's really getting full up, which is really nice.
It's getting full, but it's getting full with great programming.
Great content.
Great content. Don't want to leave out OJ, Orlando Jose. He's got a show called Juice Bar. Everyone
Can't
knows
forget you,
OJ. Call him Mr. Purple. He's got the little hat, and he's always out there interviewing. Him and Nikki D are doing the Duke and the Duchess, if you've seen on Facebook.
Yeah, so they're doing,
he's got a great show called the Juice Bar.
So with people, can they approach you if they have an idea for a show, or if they want to put a show on?
Absolutely.
Or how would they be able to get a hold of you for media to
Just
say,
reach us through the Facebook or the
Facebook.
The Facebook. I'm old. Huh?
I know, right?
Hit me on the Facebook.
But you do have a .org.
We have a Facebook page. We do streaming there at KXVS Radio. Of course, the voiceofstockton.org, KXVS.org. You can reach us there. You could call us. We're accessible, but on our website, you can find our information. Give us a call, 209-467-4455. But email and messages, those are probably the best way because we have more people checking that. And you know how, the phone might go to a voicemail, right? But the message will sit there. The email message or the Facebook message will sit there, and somebody will
finally catch up to it.
They'll catch up to it. We are 100% volunteer supported. So again, if somebody wants to help, if you want to have a program, or if you're interested in communications, or if you want to become a board operator, or if you want to get in the multimedia business, radio, television, film, most of us come from Delta College. We're mostly alumni from the radio television department. So we're basically taking what we learned and applying it and doing it for the community, really following the footsteps of our mentor, Professor William Story.
Right on. It is amazing how much has grown within the past year.
Yeah.
And man, I'm really so glad to be a part of it. I'm glad I found the station and came back home to Stockton and doing the best I can and hanging out and everything. So we got a few functions coming up maybe, or some fundraisers.
So we're again, I said we're 100% community supported. We're also member supported, and the reason why we push memberships, and it's really easy to become a member, kxvs.org/join. You can make it automatic out of your account, $2 a month, $200 a month, whatever you got, or you could sign up for an annual membership and bring it in or mail it in or whatever. But the whole point of being member supported is that we can be true to the needs of our community. When you start to become supported by powerful entities with lots of money, then you got to kind of,
especially if they're out of town. If they're out of town, you don't have much. You can't really go knock on their door.
No.
You might have to send a pigeon mail, and then it might not ever get there.
And they become the boss. And the community is our boss. We serve the community, and so in order to do that properly, we have to be member supported. And big shout out to our founding members. So these are members. We call them founders. The people who contributed $1,000 or more. William Story. Oh man, I started naming them. Now I got to name them all.
Right.
Let's see. I know Christina
Later on, I'll
just
type
became
them.
one. Yeah. Art Menor, founder, member, and those people were putting on a big permanent plaque because really that makes a difference. But it doesn't have to be 1,000. And whatever you can do, whatever you can support is great because we all really have our different capacities. And this is a great way for us to do the best we can for our community, because we're a great supporter of nonprofits. It's our major mission is to support our nonprofit community, along with providing great content for the community. We got to make sure that our organizations and service organizations are not only recognized but assisted, and promoted. And also not to exclude the business community. Really, it's all our community. We would appreciate your support, your financial support, your technical support, what have you.
That's the fun part. I like pushing the wrong buttons.
Yes.
Dang it, I'm sorry about that, Tom.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey,
kidding.
But the cool thing about doing it the way we're doing it it is community based. So, everyone gets gets to kind of do it a little bit their way, and we can break the walls of how technology is used. We can be cutting edge. We're streaming live from Werlos. I mean, how cool is that?
It's amazing.
For a radio station, right? So,
when we were younger, we always, we used to play in bedrooms and hang out and you do some wood shopping, and we'd always say, man, if there could just be a camera someday, in 20, 30 years later, there's an actual camera that, man, we can just film anywhere, so it's kind of amazing. So
it is amazing.
And speaking of great content, we have a lot of musicians that come through the station, which is some of my favorite part as musicians myself.
Yeah.
And tonight we have William Sconce here hanging out. Oh, yeah. And I can't wait to hear him in a little bit. We're going to get to interview him and stuff and rock out.
Yeah, it's really great, being able to really, highlight the best of what our community has. We hear because we're not as involved in our own messaging, or at least we haven't been. We're starting to get that way, Voice of Stockton and other groups. But you allow somebody else to tell your story, and if they're commercializing your story, they got to sell it. And bad news sells. They say if it bleeds, it leads, right? And so that's what we end up with, and we end up with this negative perspective. But here we are. What we're doing is there's so much great things going on in our community, and they're being kind of hidden by this sensational negativity. So again, like these great artists and musical artists and fine artists, these great humanitarians and philanthropists, these great organizations, even local businesses, and these are the shining jewels, the gems of our community, and we love to showcase that, because that's the true story about our community.
Right, peeling the layers of Stockton and beyond, little by little by little.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, definitely want to have you here again, and then maybe we'll take a quick break, and then maybe we'll interview William and get some jams going.
Looking forward to it.
So we'll be right back.
All right.
So we'll be right back with Don here. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. We got some soundscaping from Jim Dennis coming up. Mr. William Sconce. We'll pick his brain a little bit, see what he's up to. New videos, new songs, and a mini tour.
All right.
All right. I'll go get the host. I'll be right back.
All right. Yellow Dot Spike. It's you missed the spot.